After the murder of Eisner, Munich was shaken by a second revolution. The Bolsheviks forced their way into power, and for the month of April 1919 set up a Soviet republic. The Bolshevik leaders demanded loyalty from the soldiers, including Hitler's regiment. Spokesmen were being elected. Hitler stood as a candidate. With 19 votes, he won a seat on the Soldiers' Council, or Soviet, becoming a servant of the forces which shortly afterwards he said he had always hated. In early May, troops of the Reich central government captured Munich and crushed the Soviet dictatorship. Among those loyal to the government was the infamous Werdenfels Volunteer Corps. For 10 days, this private militia of war veterans conducted a campaign of vengeance in the capital. Then they returned to rural Garmisch, greeted with jubilation by the locals. Lance Corporal Hitler was willing to serve the new masters and denounce his former comrades from the Soviet period. When the Werdenfelsers arrived in Garmisch, he once more made an appearance, this time without the Red Arm Band, and this time siding with the right. Now Hitler had a stroke of luck. A former superior called on him to join the propaganda unit. The aim? Agitation among soldiers against the spectre of Bolshevism. The propagandists received special training with a nationalistic bias. Here, Hitler's vague ideas were formed into a political program. 3 months later, his first political pamphlet against the Jews appeared. During this time, he was sent to spy on political meetings, here at a Social Democrats meeting in Munich. On September the 12th, he was sent to a meeting of the radical right-wing DAP, the German Workers' Party. He asked to speak and was discovered. He's got the gift of the gab, we could use him. This marks the birth of Hitler, the politician.
Also wir waren so 15 Jahre alt etwa, nicht? 15, 16. Und wir waren interessiert, diesen Mann zu hören, weil er damals in dem riesigen Zirkus Krone, es waren ungefähr 3000 Leute, die hineingingen, ob immer so viel da waren, ist sicher zweifelhaft, denn das war ja keine Zirkusvorstellung. Aber in ihm sprach er etwa dreiviertel Stunde oder Stunde und in der Hauptsache gegen den Versailler Friedensvertrag. Und das war ja nun ein Thema, das alle, auch die jungen Leute damals heftig interessierte.
The metamorphosis was complete in less than 6 months. Hitler called himself the drummer and was obsessed with his new task. He formed the NSDAP, the National Socialist German Workers' Party, and attracted more and more followers with his radical rhetoric. The king of the local beer hall rapidly became the standard bearer for the reactionary forces of the right. The eccentric from the trenches wanted power at any price. For him, politics was only a means to an end. In 1923, Hitler attempted a coup, the Munich Beer Hall Putsch, a quixotic attempt to kidnap the leaders of the Bavarian government. His dream of a political career was shattered by gunfire on the streets of Munich, with 19 killed and Hitler wounded. Ruin stared him in the face again. Hitler first wanted to shoot himself, then starve to death in prison. It looked like the end. But quite unexpectedly, defeat turned to triumph. Hitler used the courtroom as a platform and became notorious across the whole Reich. His sentence was a lenient 5 years. Transfigured, he confidently presented himself as the hero of the hour. He was no longer drumming for someone else. Now he felt he himself was the chosen one. The former Lance Corporal was treated like a VIP in Landsberg prison. His cell door was left unlocked. Visitors came and went. He made endless speeches working out his political program. Fellow prisoners soon complained that their card games were being disturbed. To keep him quiet, someone suggested he write his memoirs. Day and night he worked on Mein Kampf, using this typewriter. The legend of the chosen Führer was born. Hitler was released after just 9 months in prison. He was not short of money. He went to election rallies in a red supercharged Mercedes like a small-time celebrity, made a pilgrimage to Bayreuth, and acted like a man of the world. As Hitler put it, he felt like a lone wolf in this period. Time after time he returned to Berchtesgaden, drawn to the rural idyll. In 1925, while taking his Alsatian for a walk, Hitler met Maria Reiter. The 16-year-old was fascinated by the politician 20 years her elder. This is the first recorded romance in the life of Adolf Hitler. "You know, Mitzel," wrote Hitler tenderly, "if I'm angry or troubled, I just want to be with you and forget everything else. Yes, child, you really don't know what you mean to me, how much I love you, your wolf." In 1928, Hitler rented the Wachenfeld house on the Obersalzberg. After this time, he kept Mitzi Reiter at a distance. Deeply hurt, she tried to commit suicide, but was saved at the last moment. Hitler's half-sister took over the running of the Wachenfeld house. With her came her 19-year-old daughter, Geli, the next passion in Hitler's life. Hitler's unstoppable rise began with the world economic crisis. In a different place every day, he hammered home his message to the Germans. While Hitler continued his political maneuvers, especially building on his success with female voters, Geli waited in Munich, hidden from the public, neither free nor fulfilled. Hitler's affections blew hot and cold. It destroyed the young woman, now 23 years old. In September 1931, Geli Raubal took her life in Hitler's flat at Prinzregentenplatz. Hitler took it hard. He interrupted his election campaign and returned to Munich. After Geli's death, he created a cult around his niece. He left the room where she died untouched, locked. Only he was allowed in for his devotions. He now idealized the dead woman as the one great love of his life. He gave her in death the attention he had denied her when she was alive. But soon there was another passion, also 19 years old, blonde and buxom. Eva Braun.